Invest in your well-being for life. When we hear the word invest or investing, we automatically think about financial matters. But how many of us relate that word to our well-being? Investing in your well-being is crucial when it comes to making a conscious effort to work on emotional clearing. How many of us invest time to reflect and heal through emotional work? With everything moving at a somewhat faster pace with technology, work, and life, it is imperative that we have strategies, skills, and techniques to help release the stress that this faster pace of life brings. Stress is always followed with some emotions, whether it comes from the stress itself, or the situation that brought on the stress, or even emotions that have been held to from a situation past. These emotions have been held deep within, but have risen like a phoenix from the ashes to be confronted, expressed, and released. We are emotional beings, and to be able to express how we are feeling, good or bad, negative or positive, is crucial so that these emotions don't gather like dark clouds within our body and overall being. We need to start teaching and allowing the younger generation to feel safe about expressing how they are feeling, instead of making them feel bad for feeling bad. Some of us were frowned upon when we expressed ourselves, especially if it was a negative emotion, so we stopped feeling these feelings and suppressed them instead, not knowing that they don't go away on their own if not dealt with, but instead stay with us for life. Emotions are held within us if not expressed, and often seep out into the ether through expression and communication. When someone says, "How are you?" we automatically answer with, "Fine," just to keep it short, regardless. And yet, we don't allow ourselves to really express what we are feeling. Through conditioning, beliefs, expectations, we mask what we are feeling with more acceptable answers or expressions. If more unpleasant emotions are not confronted and allowed to be released, even from situations that happened many years ago, then we are building blocks of emotions that just sit in our bodies. We have cellular memories that are kept deep within our cellular structure. It isn't very constructive or helpful to allow deep-rooted unpleasant emotions to be shelved and hidden within ourselves. In fact, it can cause more damage in the long run. Science is discovering more and more how certain emotions can have a direct effect on dis-ease as well as healing in the body. There are some people who don't really know how they feel because over time they have numbed or deadened themselves so they don't have to confront their unpleasant feelings. Sometimes it's just too painful to feel pain, so we learn a different type of strategy to deal with it by shelving it within. However, like anything that you shelve, like a book, it doesn't disappear, but rather it gathers dust and just sits there neglected. Another example could be that when an elderly person hasn't felt able to express or communicate their true feelings or emotions through their lifetime, but instead kept them well hidden within, then eventually the level of control in their filters become less managed and prevalent through age. Thus, those unpleasant emotions just erupt like a volcano to the surface any time of the day, even with a low-level incident that happens to them. This can be rather confusing, to say the least, because they aren't sure why they are feeling perhaps anxious, angry, or even rage. The point here is that we want to do the emotional work whilst we are conscious, fully functioning human beings, so that when we reach the older age, we do so graciously, living in joy, even at this stage of our life. It will also help tremendously in our transition because we have done the emotional work, which has made us clearer and higher in our energy and vibration. Thus, it becomes a conscious and smoother transition from this life into the next. We need to create a space for both ourselves and others to feel safe enough to truly express our emotions. It doesn't mean that we focus on our more negative emotions and dwell into deep stories about how we are feeling. This too can be counterproductive. But to just be allowed to express ourselves, both negative and positive, equally, without making others feel uncomfortable for doing so. Let's allow and accept that being vulnerable is okay, and learn to create safe and acceptable spaces for others and ourselves to feel free to really express what one is feeling, without judgment and criticism. Implementing this will help to increase better mental health for all. The key here is that we need to be responsible in doing our own emotional work. We need to be in touch with our emotions and feel okay in expressing our true feelings. We need to be okay about being vulnerable. We need to be non-judgmental towards self and others when expressing and or communicating one's feelings, emotions. We are truly beautiful souls living a human experience full of emotions. So let's make it our objective to know how we feel and express ourselves openly and truthfully. This understanding and expressing then becomes another way to invest in our well-being for life.